So, just as a start, just a show of hands, like how many of you has tried to learn the tarot but just found it incredibly difficult for any number of reasons?
The tarot or Qabbalah?
The Qabalah.
I haven't really gone there.
What in particular do you really find confusing about it?
I think it's such a big subject, and when I've been to talks on it, people have tried to cover too much, and so I start off all right, but by the end of the talk, I've lost it.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So if you guys do get confused by what I'm saying, because there is a lot, please do stop me. That would be necessary. Anyone else? Anything that's different to what Jane said? Yeah? Okay. Alright, so what is the Qabalah? The Qabalah in Hebrew means the tradition. It's essentially the Hebrew system of theology. So if you're going to train to be a rabbi, you learn the Qabalah. So essentially it's what they use to interpret the Torah and what you really should know in order to interpret the Bible. And the magical orders in the West inherited it through the Golden Dawn because there's sort of... When Christianity started, there were several Christian churches. And Catholicism, because they were sort of really anti-Semitic, they disregarded the Qabalah, whilst some other Christian churches retained it. But because the Catholics won, they were driven underground. That's why we have magical orders. Okay, we're in secret. And so how does this sort of relate to the tarot? Well, first of all, you have to understand what the Tree of Life is. Okay. It's a conceptual map of the universe. In a sense, it sort of describes how the universe was created in the book of Genesis, sort of the let there be light, and all the cascading dominoes, chain effects that happen after it. Okay? And you see that in the numbering system, in the Tree of Life. I'm glad everyone's taking notes. Good. But as you say in... if anyone's familiar with ceremonial magic, there's a theory, as above, so below. That everything divine always has its sort of correlation down below. So here, it's a map of the universe, but also a map of our own minds, how our brain works. So then we have to go into, why did the Golden Dawn use tarot? Why divination? They're all magicians anyway. Because Golden Dawn is a system of how to train someone to achieve enlightenment. That's sort of what they did. I assume he's doing that herself through the process. And tarot is a good tool to sort of check your own progress. Analyze your own mind. What sort of issues you need to deal with before you can go to that period of ascension. So they use this map as their own mind and use it as a tarot spread, right? And they see the condition of different areas of their own heads, essentially. And so for the rest of the talk, I'll just be going through this Tree of Life so you understand which aspect is which. And then at the end, we'll all be using this as a spread itself.
Wow.
Okay. So start off with we have Kether. Here it says 1/10. It should be 0/1. So in the beginning there was nothing. That's Kether. Kether means crown, and means crown, as in the crown of the head. So it's 0 when the universe was absolutely nothing before anything was manifested, and that was really God. The universe is nothingness. But technically it's not. It's the closest thing to nothingness. Closest thing to nothingness without actually being nothing. Well, you can have something come out of it, right? Because you can't really conceptually say it. That's all I can say about it. I'm afraid, but that's good enough. And then I'll treat 2 and 3 as a pair. So God as divine unity, as nothingness, splits into essentially yin and yang, the divine mother and father. Hukmah, which means wisdom, is the divine father, whilst Binah, as understanding, is the divine mother. You can sort of hear it in the words that they use to describe it. Wisdom is sort of something you project and give to other people, whilst understanding is a receptive thing. And then we go into a brief explanation of the pillars. So hukma and bina are the sort of the first idea of duality. So before them, everything else was nothing, but nothing at the same time is everything, you see. So everything was unity. Then we have male and female. But what does that mean? It also means male and female is sort of the convenient label we use to understand it in our heads. But what it actually meant in the context of modern science is energy and matter. Was the masculine yang is energy, it's a life force. Was
Matter means matter.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a good way to remember it. Yeah.
Yeah. The reasoning behind that is that because everyone, it's sort of obvious when people see in childbirth, women give bodies to people. What the hell does a bloke do? So the bloke is thought of it as sort of impregnating with the woman with the soul of the child. So men were seen as the energy givers, whilst men were sort of the preservers. So the masculine and feminine pillars are called the pillar of mercy and the pillar of severity. You have to get it in your head that the masculine pillar is called the pillar of mercy. It's weird, because they felt that the soul was the energy is the source of life. So that sort of implies freedom and stuff. But because matter, it brings the cycle of life and death. Yeah, that's why it's severity. Okay. Everyone understands everything so far?
Yes.
Okay, good. No one's lost.
No.
So, after the first three, these first three is called the supernal triad, which means that this is the archetypal world. This is the world of idea, of where nothing's actually manifested yet as a physical form. Okay.
What kind of triad did you?
Supernal triad.
Supernal triad.
Super NAL.
Yeah.
And so basically, the realm of God, the realm of ideas, because of the archetypal world. So they don't. I mean, when atheists say God doesn't exist, they're technically right, because it doesn't exist the way we do. But you have to. The whole point of magic is that any idea in your head has an objective existence in a way, because say when you think of, say, Jesus, you don't think of Jesus the man, you think of Jesus the legend, the myth, and the very fact that that story in our heads manifests itself in our culture, in a way of thinking, that actually gives it more objective existence than you and I, in a way. It gives it more power. In that sense, that is a God as an idea.
An archetype.
An archetype, yeah. So that's a supernal triangle. In between 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, it's called the abyss, where Darth is. That's sort of the divide between ideas and form. So everything else below the supernal triad, you're dealing with anything that's manifested.
To present the documents that they handed out themselves, because once Anne handed out her documents,
so the 5 and 4 are the form, and 1, 2, 3 is ideas.
Yes.
Contains lots of stuff, and we can't. Okay.
5 and 4 are form.
But everything, including below it and including. So Hukma and Bina, they mate and they start creation, essentially. So everything below. So Hukma and Bina are the only place where masculine and feminine as pure ideas exist. Everything else is a mix of the two. So then we first have Hesed. Chesed is the first being in manifestation. So in a sense, it is the first God, in a sense. It's the real God as a manifested God. You can say that these are sort of what we call the pagan gods. So Chesed is attributed to Jupiter, so you can sort of see that it's all about creator gods. So the God that said, "Let there be light," that's actually Chesed, not the God.
And this is what Glenn is saying. Well, lawyers don't give people first
So it'd be a demigod?
A demiurge is a technical word for it. A demiurge. That's why there is this argument that the God of the Old Testament and the God of the New Testament are completely separate gods.
Yes.
That's where that comes from.
Right.
Chesed is the God of the Old Testament,
Yeah.
the one that actually created the world as we know it. So the gold question is, if God created us, who created God? Well, God created God, a different God. But anyway, Chesed, the easiest way to think of the Sephiroth is to remember the planets attributed to them. Because if you know astrology, then you sort of get it quickly in your head, right? So Jupiter is all about creation, all about life. In a sense, if you look at where Chesed is, it's just below Chokhmah. So it's a very masculine energy and life-giving. But it also inherits a lot of Binah's traits in a way that it preserves life as well. Right? Because Chokhmah is not just the creator, it's the destroyer as well. Binah is the preserver. So you think of, masculine energy as like fire. It can create, but it can also blow things up. Yes, Heather?
And what would the planet be for Hukma?
The what, sorry?
Hukma, what planet is that?
Chokhmah is doesn't have a planet, but has the entire zodiac.
Oh, right, okay.
It's sort of technically Mercury as well, but Mercury as a higher form. But think of it as the zodiac for now.
So Hukma is the creator and destroyer.
And destroyer, yeah.
And
Binah is the sort of preserver and the form giver. Yeah.
But we also have pillar of severity and death on her. So, okay.
Because once you have form, you have death. Essentially.
Deteriorate.
Makes sense.
So that's Chesed sort of done and dusted. Then we have Geburah. So think about what's opposite to creation. Destruction. That's Geburah. So you see how everything's sort of correlated within a tree of life. So things on opposite to each other have opposite meanings. Things up above and below are the same thing but relate to each other. Yeah. Okay. So Geburah is related to Mars. Thing is, you have to remember it's about destruction. It's not about anger. Destruction is sort of a very necessary part of the universe as much as creation is. So because destruction actually sort of preserves life. Because you think about it's on a pillar of severity. It's the lower form of Binah. It's a preserver. It's like medicine is actually, in astrology, is attributed to the planet Mars. Surgeons, you're destroying illness. You're destroying parts you don't need of yourself.
Mercury.
Mercury is
Caduceus, eh?
No. Caduceus is not for medics. It's the administration part.
Okay.
No. Caduceus. That's what people think. It's really not. The one that is for medics is the staff of Apollo. So the staff of one snake.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
That's Geburah. Easy enough. So then we get to Tiferet. Tiferet means beauty and harmony. So you have to think about Chesed and Geburah sort of combined into one. So when you have creation and destruction in balance, then essentially this world is perfect. It's also the place where where man meets God. So if you look at where it is on the tree of life, it's the only Sephiroth that has direct access to Kether in the material realm. Okay, so it's at that point where someone is said to be enlightened. It's when someone knows the truth of God, say, and that's why you have solar deities and sort of messiah figures, enlightenment, like sort of described in Tiphrith. Okay, Tiphrith is sort of so remember that Tiphrith is represents the sun, so it's all about enlightenment. It's all about the highest consciousness a human can achieve in their manifested existence. Okay, that's sort of simple enough, I think. Any questions? No? Okay, awesome. So if Tiphrith is a perfect, because it's right in the center of the tree of life, so it's a perfect balance and equilibrium. So everything after that, we're going deeper and deeper into the material realm. So so from then on we become unbalanced. So Netzach, unbalanced. So then we go into Netzach. Netzach is so here we're going into our natural mind. So Netzach is our emotions, our instincts. It's all our emotions from happiness to anger and hate, and it's attributed to Venus. If you know your mythology, Venus gets angry like everyone else, gets jealous. So she represents all intense emotions.
Is that number 7?
Yep, that's number 7.
Because this is Uranus, which is Venus, but it's both.
No, cross out Uranus. That's
okay.
Wrong. That's absolutely wrong. Note that Netzach is on the pillar of mercy. So energy is a form of energy. That's what it's telling you from that perspective. I mean, who here are practicing magicians? No one? Really?
Well, you can't say
Depends what you mean.
Well, not anything. And argument, fair enough.
Yeah.
Basically, who has experienced or who has tried to do a spell?
Yes, I'll give one.
There we go. Fair enough. Basically, when we do spells, the basic form of energy we use is our own emotions to power our own spells, because it's the lowest form of energy on the tree of life, so it's the easiest to sort of manipulate for us. And that's why no matter what sort of magic you do, there's always an element of emotion in it. It's sort of magic is sort of affirmation, right? If you want to make yourself believe it, you need some force in it. Yeah. I mean, you look in the mirror, you don't go, I love and accept myself unconditionally. You say, I love myself. Right? You see, that's more.
But you get what you put into it. So
Yeah.
You can put a little energy in.
Mm-hmm. That's Netzach. Fairly easy. And then we get to Hod. What's opposite to emotions? Intellect. There we go. The tree light, it's easy peasy, right? Once you get that.
When you know how.
Yeah. So intellect, all forms of academia, science. So here it's attributed to Mercury. So Hod is Mercury. But if you look on the tree, it's on the pillar of severity, so it deals with form. Why does a sephira of words have something to do with form? Well, when we have a thought, we can't really conceptualize it without language. So in a sense, language gives form to things. And that's why in the book of Genesis, God had to say something to create the universe. Let there be light.
The word is made flesh.
Yeah, exactly. So in Hod, I lost my train of thought there. Language gives form. Yeah, because so in the Hod, if you think about in mythology, whenever you have a god of language, he's always the god of magic as well. All right, because they're all completely related things. So Hod is also the the realm of ceremonial magic in particular. Because if you think about how normal magic compared to ceremonial magic, is ceremonial magic goes at it from a sort of academic angle.
Ritual.
Yeah. They're a lot more structured.
Yeah,
They try to make something. They try to condense
Organised.
everything into theory, so that it's sort of much more repeatable.
It's interesting though, you're using both sides of your brain too.
Yeah. Because you definitely need your emotions for it to work, but you need some sort of
Something
structure
to
to
hold
it.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
You know, those are easy enough. Then we get to Yesod. So we're back onto the middle pillar, which I forgot to mention. The middle pillar is a pillar of consciousness. So middle pillar represents different states of mind, whilst the side pillars represent sort of aspects of mind. So how these two sides of the brain sort of interact with each other. So it's very literally is a map of our brain.
Yeah.
Yesod is a subconscious as it says right there. It's everything sort of we do, but we don't know about it ourselves. It's sort of those sort of habits that we so used to, we take for granted, and we just don't even know we do them. That's why it's to do with the moon. When Christians or whatever religion says you're shining light on the darkness, it's about making your own subconscious known to you, or conscious to you. It's knowing yourself, really. And in English, Yesod means foundation. And the reason for that is because Yesod is your subconscious, but it's also your imagination. It's the dream world. And your imagination is the fundamental thing you're working with when you deal with magic. You know, you interpret your own dreams, you deliberately try to induce visions in order to learn about your own subconscious. I mean, most of you must have done guided meditations whilst you travel through your underworld. That's Yesod. That's that sort of work. Finally, we get to Malkuth. Malkuth is the world we all know, we are born in, we see, smell, touch. It means kingdom, and it's also the realm where everything in above manifests itself externally. So this is the realm of the four elements: fire, earth, air, and water. And so whatever we sort of so when we do magic, as I said, it's to do with the Yesod. So we try to make something happen in Yesod, in our subconscious, and then it will manifest itself in Malkuth. That's why Yesod is actually the filter where everything goes through to get to the external realm. Or, in reverse, we always have to get through Yesod to get higher up. That's why that's the foundation. But that's Malkuth. And Malkuth is attributed to the Earth itself, not as a planet. Easy enough. And that's it, guys. We've gone through it.
Wow.
Thank you for explaining it. Yeah.
It's very simple and easy, yeah?
Yeah. But involved.
No.
No, it's good. It's good.
And so having now understanding all of that, a good way to solidify it is to actually use it as a spread.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to try and read for each other, okay?
Okay, cool.
Okay, cool.